The name sending shockwaves through the early part of the 2026 season isn't on the Blue Jays' 40-man roster, but he might be the single most important player for this front office to track over the next 90 days. That name is José Soriano. The Los Angeles Angels are 4-0 in games he starts and 4-8 in every other game they've played. That's not just an impact player, that's a franchise-altering force on the mound. And now, according to reports, the Toronto Blue Jays are being linked as a potential trade fit. Let's be absolutely clear about what we're witnessing from Soriano. Through 4 starts and 27 innings pitched, he has allowed one earned run. That's a 0.33 ERA and a 0.41 WHIP. He's already accumulated a staggering 1.8 BWR, which leads all of Major League Baseball. This isn't just a hot start, it's a historically dominant one. The question for Ross Atkins and the Blue Jays front office isn't if Soriano is good. The question is what it would take to pry a legitimate, cost-controlled ace from a desperate Angels organization, and if this Blue Jays team is one piece away from making that price worth it. To understand why this rumor has legs, you have to look at the current state of the union at one Blue Jays way. Yes, the recent trade for Lenyn Sosa from the White Sox was a necessary move to inject some life and depth into an offense that has been, to put it mildly, inconsistent. Optioning Tyler Fitzgerald was the corresponding move, a clear signal that Atkins is actively churning the bottom of the roster looking for a spark. But the offense isn't the only area showing signs of stress. The starting rotation, long considered the bedrock of this team, is facing its own set of questions. Kevin Gausman and Jose Berrios are the established 1-2 punch. Chris Bassett provides veteran stability. But beyond that, Yusei Kikuchi has been solid. But we know the volatility that can come with his profile, and the 5th spot has been a revolving door of uncertainty. Whether it's Alek Manoah still working to recapture his Cy Young form in Buffalo, or Bowden Francis being stretched out, there is a clear vulnerability. An injury to any of the top 4 arms would be catastrophic. This is where the Soriano conversation moves from a fan's dream to a front office's strategic imperative. Acquiring Soriano isn't just about adding a 5th starter, it's about adding a co-ace. It would give John Schneider a rotation of Gausman, Soriano, and Berrios, a 3-headed monster that could match up against any team in a postseason series. The Yankees, the Orioles, anyone. It shortens the game for the bullpen and takes immense pressure off an offense that is still trying to find its identity around Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. So who exactly is this 27-year-old right-hander who has seemingly come out of nowhere to become the best pitcher on the planet? José Soriano's journey is a testament to perseverance. He was originally a Rule 5 draft pick by the Pirates from the Angels, then returned. He underwent Tommy John surgery, which wiped out his 2022 season. He spent most of his early career as a high-leverage reliever, where his electric stuff was on full display. And that stuff is the key. This isn't a smoke and mirrors performance. Soriano's arsenal is built on a foundation of pure power and devastating movement. His primary weapon is a sinker that sits in the high 90s, touching 99 mph with an absurd amount of arm side run. It generates elite ground ball rates, a trait that would play beautifully in the Rogers Center. His secondary pitch is a true power curveball in the mid-80s with massive vertical and horizontal break. It's a legitimate out pitch that generates whiffs against both righties and lefties. Now, is a 0.33 ERA sustainable? Of course not. No pitcher in history maintains that over a full season. His BABIP, batting average on balls in play, is likely unsustainably low right now. However, his underlying metrics, like his FIP, fielding independent pitching, and xERA, expected ERA, still project him as a top-of-the-rotation arm. Even with regression, we are looking at a pitcher with a sub-3. 0 ERA profile, and that's the kind of arm you pay a premium for. The transition from a high-leverage reliever to a dominant starter is what makes him so incredibly intriguing. The Angels have unlocked an ace. This brings us to the monumental cost of acquisition. Let's get one thing straight. José Soriano is not a rental. He is arbitration eligible, but remains under team control through the end of the 2028 season. That's 2.5 years of an ace in his prime, on a relatively affordable salary compared to what he would command on the free agent market. This fact alone skyrockets his trade value into the stratosphere. Any conversation with Angels GM Perry Minasian starts, and likely ends, with one name, Ricky Tiedemann. For the Blue Jays, this should be a non-starter. You do not trade a potential homegrown, left-handed ace for any pitcher, no matter how good. Ross Atkins will and must declare Tiedemann completely untouchable. So, if Tiedemann is off the table, What does a realistic package look like? It has to be painful. It would have to be a multiplayer deal headlined by at least two of the organization's top-tier prospects. We're talking about a package that would have to start with someone like Orelvis Martinez. Despite his defensive questions, his 70-grade power is a tool that rebuilding teams covet. From there, the Angels would likely demand another top 100 caliber prospect. That could be the high-ceiling shortstop Arjun Nimala, or a versatile infielder like Addison Barger, who is already on the cusp of the majors. And it wouldn't stop there. The Angels would almost certainly demand a young pitcher with high upside coming back. Think Brandon Barriera or Landon Marudis. So a potential framework looks something like Orelvis Martinez, Arjun Nimala, and Brandon Barriera for José Soriano. That is a massive haul that would significantly deplete the top end of the Blue Jays farm system, currently thriving in New Hampshire and Buffalo. It might even require a young, controllable MLB piece on top of that. It's a price that makes you pause. This is the ultimate test of the Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro philosophy. Are they willing to execute another trade of the magnitude of the Jose Berrios deal? Remember, they sent top prospects Austin Martin and Simeon Woods Richardson to Minnesota for 1.5 seasons of Berrios. Soriano offers a full extra year of control, meaning the prospect cost will be even higher. The Berrios trade ultimately led to a long-term extension and has been a success, providing a precedent for this kind of aggressive move. Financially, Soriano fits perfectly. His arbitration salary would not threaten the Blue Jays' position relative to the competitive balance tax (CBT) threshold in a meaningful way this season. This isn't a financial decision, it's an asset management decision. It's a question of win now versus sustain the future. Is the current core of Guerrero, Bichette, Springer, and Gausman good enough that adding Soriano pushes them over the top and into true World Series contention? My verdict? A deal of this size is highly unlikely to happen on April 15th. The Blue Jays will want to see if their internal options can stabilize the rotation, and the Angels will want to let Soriano continue his dominant run to maximize his trade value. But this is absolutely the #1 situation to monitor as we approach the July trade deadline. If the Blue Jays are hovering around a wild card spot in mid-July and Soriano is still pitching like an ace, the pressure on Atkins to make a franchise-defining move will be immense. He is the single most valuable and logical trade target in all of baseball for a team in Toronto's position. The emergence of José Soriano has created a fascinating scenario. He's the real deal. The cost to acquire him would be monumental, and it would force the Blue Jays front office to make a definitive statement about their belief in this current competitive window. What do you think? Is there any prospect package you'd be willing to part with to see Soriano in a Blue Jays uniform? Is the price simply too high? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay on top of every trade rumor, every roster move, and get in-depth analysis that goes beyond the box score, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll be tracking this storyline and everything else happening with this team every single day. Thanks for watching.